Hello and all, welcome to the Galaxy Man Show channel here. I am here with...
Alberto Rosende.
Dominic Sherwood.
And with my first question, this is for Dom. And also Alberto, if you want to answer it. What was it like filming the final season of Shadowhunters?
The final season wasn't the final season until after we finished episode 20. It was about a month and a half after that we'd wrapped, we'd all gone back home, that we found out not only that we were canceled, but that we were doing 2 more.
Yeah.
So it was that last 2 episodes that was
That was where we were filming something that we knew was coming to an end. So everyone was fairly sure we were going to get a season 4.
Yeah.
And we were catering the story towards leaning to going and doing more. And I think as a result, what we ended up doing is changing a lot of what was in our original episode 20 and putting it in 19, and then taking bits and moving it on to 20 and 21 and 22, and extending the story a little that way. So as Alberto says, it really was those last 2 episodes that felt like we were finishing off. And it was bittersweet, as everyone says, but at the same time it was they did such a good job, Todd and Darren and the writers team, and then the crew and everyone who came back to sort of finish, because a lot of people had gone off and taken other jobs and whatever, and I think everyone came back and rallied, and we put something together that we were really proud of.
Yeah. And for my second question, who was the biggest prankster on the set?
A lot of people ask that.
We had a lot of...
It was season 1 was a lot of pranks.
More of
yeah.
Season
1 was a lot of pranks, and then Kat and I started getting paid to do these pranking spots for a while, which was really odd, like promoting other things and other movies and stuff. Like that one for The Ring, she pranked us. That was horrifying for me. I knew they were going to do something. I knew they were trying to mess with me at some point. But I didn't know, me and Isaiah, and we didn't know exactly when it was, and we were sort of creeping around the place, and they got us.
Really loud.
I was genuinely terrified. If you watch it, I have my foot on the table like this because I know something's coming. And as she runs out, my instinct is to kick the table forward, and I just stop myself from doing it because I was about to boot it into, because I thought the girl from The Ring was running out.
Imagine if you'd
But yeah, I think season 1 was where it really flourished, and that was mostly me. And you got quite a few as well.
I got a few good ones.
You got good ones. The poop on my door, it wasn't poop, it was Nutella, but you put it underneath my trailer handle.
So at 3 in the morning when he's exhausted and had to wrap, and just all he wanted to do was go home, he'd just get his hand in a big glove.
And I was
what he thought was
and at 3 a.m. your instinct is well, that's poop. Someone has put poo on my door handle, and that's dreadful. It's funnier when you say poo in a British accent.
Yes, you're way funnier.
Yeah, there you go.
And for my third question, this is actually for Alberto this time. Paul Wesley actually directed an episode.
Yeah.
What was it like when Paul Wesley came on to direct an episode for you?
It was vampires from different worlds kind of collide. It was cool because he had a cool understanding of what the whole genre was, which sometimes we didn't get that with our directors, that they kind of knew what the world... knew what the world was, knew how to kind of communicate with actors about that specifically. And then it was also cool to be directed by a guy who's an actor. Yeah. So it comes from that lens. And then... I'm
not laughing at you, I'm laughing that very subtly at having surreptitious drinks brought into us in the background. You see oh, thank you very much. Oh, you managed to get cider. Amazing. Thank you so much. Cheers.
So, next question. No, it was really cool to see that. Also, the way his career's kind of worked, where he was on that show for a while, then he's been directing and doing that. He was a cool person to kind of just see and be like, oh, maybe in a few years I could be directing. So overall, it was an awesome experience. Yeah.
And for my fourth question, this is actually for Dom this time. You actually met Catherine Kelly from The Bold and the Beautiful when she did an interview with you on The View, I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah.
What was it like meeting Catherine Kelly?
I think that was the morning show that I did in Sydney, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a trip, because this sort of little old me sat next to this sort of Australian icon kind of thing. Yeah. So that was a bit of a trip, and then so the funny thing with this interview is I had just recently gone through a breakup.
Okay.
But nobody knew. The public didn't know, so they sort of asked some questions about my girlfriend, who wasn't my girlfriend at the time, and it was all live, and I hadn't really thought about it, and I just remember going, oh, panic. What do I say? This is great. Everything's great. And she is, don't get me wrong, she's a wonderful girl, she's a very amicable breaker. And I have a huge amount of respect for her. But yeah, it's sort of sitting in a situation where I was already quite nervous because I was sat next to someone who was like wildly successful. I was trying not to say anything really like terrible. They get this like bombshell dropped in front of me, and I think one of them even said like, "Oh, you should be having kids soon." And I was like, "Oh, thanks." But yeah, it was a hell of a thing for sure.
Nice. And for my fifth question, what are you guys going to enjoy about Oz Comic Con this weekend?
Well, with every convention, it's really cool to meet fans from like another part of the world. I've never been to Australia before; it's my first time.
Nice.
So I'm excited to kind of see a bit of Melbourne, and then also talk to people that are here that have seen the show and just, I don't know, just connect.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
And yourself?
I'm the same. Yeah, I'm always excited to interact with the fans, and also both of us are kind of very comic book geeky.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're going to try and like go out and actually explore Comic Con properly as well, which is we always try and do that when we go. It's a lot of fun.
So cosplay yourselves and
yeah, or we might just be dressed up as something else.
Nice.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, wink. We're not going to be there. Good one, solid work. Yeah.
And for my sixth question, when you were the Owl Creature in the technically final kind of season, were you under the mask?
I was, yeah. Yeah, it was a nightmare.
How hard was that?
It was a real learning process for all of us. We got this mask developed, and we got one for me and one for my son guy Aaron, who. I mean, Aaron really deserves all of the credit because I do a lot of the fighting stuff, but it's the things like the really intricate like flips and twists that I don't do.
Yeah.
Can't
the nicest dude you've ever met.
He's the sweetest guy. He works so hard as well. He's an amazing stunt guy. But he has to do these like backflips and stuff wearing this mask, and a big part of when you do these tricks is seeing the ground in front of you and knowing that that's where your feet are going to go. And a big problem with that mask is you couldn't really see so good. So it was tricky. We did times where we take like they sort of had these black lenses, and we take those out because if we were shooting at night, it's like wearing sunglasses, you couldn't see anything. So we'd take those out and that would help, and then we'd have to put them back in for different shots and sort of be walked like literally by the arm onto where I'm supposed to stand, and they're like, just don't move there, and then you're looking at like 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock and that's it, that's all you need. And then there was the one day where they had the rain towers where the mask, unbeknownst to me, was watertight down here but let water in at the top, so sort of halfway through I'm realising like, oh, I think I'm gonna fucking drown in my own bath, like this is dreadful. And I was like, cut, can we pop the eyes out real quick, because I'm like gurgling with water that just happens to be right in my mouth. But yeah, it was a cool experience. It was something very different to anything I'd done before, and the prosthetics team as well would like to put this thing together and to make it literally fit my face to the point where if I wanted to move my mouth, the creature moved its mouth, the mask moved. It was absolutely amazing.
Well, can I just say you did an amazing performance as the
Owl Creature, thank you so much.
I really loved your performance as the
That's
Owl
very
Creature.
sweet. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for bringing that Owl Creature to
Oh,
life.
thank you. Yeah.
He put like humbly, you won't say this. He put a lot of work into how the owl moves, how what they wanted to do. There were talks with writers about like how they can make this a thing, but how they can still fit. It was a cool process behind that.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
And with my seventh question that I have for you guys, when you guys went into wanting to create Shadowhunters with the writers and stuff, what was audition process like for you guys?
Very different. Both of us had very different process. You want to go first?
Yeah, mine. I know I auditioned for it like 3 times before it was ever going anywhere. And then I thought I wasn't going to hear anything because it'd been like a month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that one's gone.
A month is kind of your cut-off. Yeah.
That's when like the last strand of hope.
Just gonna cut that.
No, but somehow it kept hanging on, and then I actually was flown to LA because I was in New York at the time. Well, actually, at the time I was in Boston, but I went back to New York, and then my test got pushed, so I was flown to LA, and I did 3 separate auditions there. The first one was like a group of like 10 people in the room, and all of them auditioning for Simon, and you see like a bunch of tall guys, short guys, like everything you can imagine is like in one room. You're like, wow, that's okay. And then the next room, there's like 4 or 5, and you're like, okay. And then the next time it's 3.
Yeah,
And
sort
then
of
you're like,
whittle you down.
wow, okay. So it felt, I don't know, it was really, for me, I had a great time because I was never really, I was just happy to be there. I was flown to
Right.
LA, I was hanging out.
Mine was sort of similar at the beginning, and then very quickly changed. So I went through that process and I tested, and then I got offered the part, and I got offered the part first before Clary's or anyone. So I had to come back and like seemingly having the part, but also auditioning with all these different Clarys and thinking to myself every time I do an audition, I auditioned probably with about 30 different Clarys, and I remember thinking every time, if they like her better than me, and they don't think that we vibe, they're going to fire me and hire her and then do the whole opposite thing. So it's like 30, had to do 30 essentially more auditions where I had to prove like, no, I promise you, I'm still right for this part.
And then you actually fit with that.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I actually met you at my test.
Yeah, I remember walking in and there were 3 guys there were a bunch of Izzies there were no Alex, there were 3 Simons and then about 7 Clarys. And I remember there were 3 sat down, one of them was stood up and there were 2 Simons sat on the couch. And 2 of them were wearing glasses, you and the other guy, and then one of them was stood up not wearing glasses. And I was like, well, that's a terrible mistake because the character wears glasses. You should be wearing glasses right now. And then I looked at the 2 of you and just went, he's going to get it. And then walked into my room. That was, well, it actually wasn't Alberto, but he ended up getting it anyway. He did do it, we never saw him. No, it was of course Alberto, and I don't think there was even any question. I think when he walked in the room, everyone was just like, yeah, he's the guy.
I would actually like to tell you something, if I can, about my mate actually auditioned for Shadowhunters.
Cool.
But he auditioned for the wrong character, so he auditioned for Simon. And he was like, shouldn't you audition for Jace instead? And he sadly didn't get in, but his name was Charles Terrier. He's a great actor, and he actually, as I said, auditioned.
Interesting.
That's cool.
Next time, there's always another audition, which is great. One of the great things about this job is no matter how down you get, there's always going to be something else.
Well, can I just say thank you so much, guys, for this pleasure for interviewing you guys.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.
Thank you
very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Shout out to the Galaxy Man Show.
Hello one and all, welcome to the Galaxy Man Show channel here. We are here with Bernie Van Til. So Bernie, what can you tell me about when you first got the role of Jade for the Jade of Death series, and what was your most favorite part about filming Jade of Death season 1?
Okay, so starting with the first half of that question, I was in acting school when I landed the role, which is bizarre because I was still learning the ins and outs of the craft. But the writer/director Aaron Good was actually teaching at our college at the time, and she noticed me and just how I was acting and just how my personality was in general, and she took an interest, but she wanted to make the casting fair, so she put out an open casting call for everyone, and I auditioned because I was interested in the script when she pitched it, and she really liked my audition. Our producer Taylor Litton Strain really liked it as well, so they both made the decision to have me on board. They had a callback session where they needed some chemistry testing with the love interest, who's played by Jordan Cowan. And we both did really well in that audition, and both got cast for our roles of Jade and Maya. My favorite part of filming the whole entire thing, like there's so many things. Like, first of all, we filmed that in Aaron Good's garage, like her shed. It's not even a garage, it's like a shed, where you see the red tent and curtains and everything. So we had amazing set dressers just dress up this tiny shed in the middle of summer where it was boiling hot, and we would do these scenes. Like, that aspect to it is something that I absolutely love, because it shows that you can make a high production series on a very low budget. But overall, the thing that I took away was probably the location shoot, where we shot a lot of the flashback scenes, and the other location shoot where we had the carnival. And again, the set design, the extras were amazing. The team was just absolutely all hands on deck. And we filmed that out at Marrickville Community Center, I think it is. So everyone in the inner west of Sydney knows where that is. And they have markets every weekend. And we shot till 3 a.m. The next morning. And we had to basically, well, the whole production team had to basically collapse everything and finish on time so that they were out of the way when the markets had to come the next day. So that was pretty cool. It was just blew me away how many people were involved, like how many extras we had. Like we had hundreds of extras, how many people on crew we had, and just the incredible set design that people built a carnival out of nothing. So that was pretty cool.
And for my second question, what was it like working with, let me get his name up. What was it like working with Nicholas Hope, with him playing the villain?
Amazing. Nicholas Hope is an incredible human being, first and foremost. But also he's an incredible actor. I learned so much just from being in his presence. I learned so much from a lot of the people on set because, you know, I was basically the rookie that came on board because I was still in acting school, learning everything and hadn't quite got my face out there yet. So being in the same room as Bad Boy Bobby, aka Nicholas Hope, was insane. Like the way he approaches things with such freedom, the way he thinks outside the box and develops his role, and even the way he speaks is it's very well thought out. Even, I don't know, like if it's something that comes second nature to him or if it's something that he's just done years and years of training for. I don't know, maybe a combination of both, but I sincerely admire him as a creative and a human being. And that goes out for, you know, the rest of the cast and crew, but specifically for that question, yeah, it was a breathtaking experience, really.
Nice. And for my third question, with the whole Jade and Maya situation, where do you want to see that relationship go in season 2?
Well, funny you ask, because the ABC got a lot of budget cuts, our iView project couldn't come to fruition for season 2 for funding, but that hasn't deterred Erin or Taylor. Erin especially is redeveloping the script to be a TV length series, I believe, because she's just finished the pilot and it's in circulation at the moment. It's a finalist for the Sundance Festival, which is really, really cool. So it seems that some fairly important people really like what the new development of the pilot is looking like, and I'm just really excited to really just sink my teeth into it and start filming that, like, because it's going to be, she's redeveloped the story. She's I mean, Jade and Maya are still at the core of it, of course, as well as our favorite characters, but just in terms of like the ins and outs and the nuances that are happening throughout the story, it's just a little bit different, but different good.
Nice. And for my fourth question, with Jade of Death being such a success, with season 1 being so amazing, what would your take on Jade for season 2 be? What would you want to see Jade get up to in season 2?
Well, like I said, like we're not really into season 2, just because of all the stuff that we've had to redevelop. For the pilot, however, and for the new series that's coming through, because we're redoing it as season 1. So for that pilot, I'd really love to see Jade kind of explore more of her abilities. I'd love to see more stunts, like more action. And I'd love to see the relationships between her mom and those she holds really dear to her explored in a bit more depth. I mean, when you have a longer form format or media to work with, like a TV length pilot, you can kind of explore those relationships a little bit more and those themes more thoroughly. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing whatever happens with that, come what may.
And for my fifth question, so you do beatboxing. What interests you what interests you? I see you go to a lot of comps with about beatboxing and stuff. What do you find the most interesting about beatboxing, and who got you into beatboxing in the first place?
Okay, so I feel like beatboxing is just this language that we're born with, because we don't really have language developed, so to speak, in terms of English or Spanish or whatever language is your home language. We don't have that from the get-go. It's something we learn. So instead, when we're verbal, as tiny little humans, we explore sounds to get what we want. And those sounds just come out as like tones and plosives and consonants and stuff. So it's basically just this language that you then further develop. And me being like a really eclectic human and someone who gets bored very easily, exploring beatboxing just became the second nature, I guess. So like I was always making noises, always making weird sounds and character voices and stuff like that. Mostly to Onai, my older sister. But I guess when I was about 12, my cousin's boyfriend at the time showed me a CD that had Rahzel on it. And for those who don't know Rahzel, he used to rock with the Wu-Tang Clan back in the day. And he was like the godfather of noise. He brought beatboxing from the underground to the surface, and he toured around with that sort of stuff and had MCs rock over the mic, but then he also soloed by himself. And I heard a CD of him doing that, and my cousin was like, this is all vocal, this is all from his voice. And I flipped out. I was like, what the hell? So I wanted to copy that and explore what he was doing. And so it started off building from what I was hearing in him, and then it developed into my own style. And as beatboxing evolves, because it's still like it's becoming incredibly diverse in what you're able to do with your voice these days. Because beatboxing is becoming incredibly diverse and evolved, it's just forever keeping my interest. And I get to be in a really cool observational standpoint, being an MC of a lot of the beatbox events that happen in Australia, because I get to watch some of the best just go hard on the mic, and I'm just always in awe, basically. And so I'll go home and I'll develop it myself. But I think it's the fact that there is no wrong you can do in beatboxing that interests me so much. There's no trial and error. It's just trial and succeed,
And to get on to that point with succeeding, what would you say to someone who wants to get into acting or beatboxing if they came up to you? What would you say to them, and what movies or like other franchises would you want to be in if you could?
Cool. Anyone who wants to get into acting or beatboxing or anything creative, anything at all, do it. Honestly, if you want to, I don't see why anything or anyone should stop you. I would say forever build your skill set and be open to change, be open to exploring, and be open to direction and guidance, because if you get set in your way, you're not really going to grow as a human, and therefore your craft isn't going to get any better. I think that in any way, like, you don't do it because you want fame. Don't do it because you want quote unquote success. Really question what success means to you. And if that just means happiness, then honestly, there's no harm in just doing what you really love to do. Educate yourself as well. Explore different movies, explore different sounds, explore different music, different genres, different people. Like, get involved and dive into that diversity, because it is so rewarding and so liberating when you do, and it's quite a nice community that you find within it as well. Second half of that question, what franchises or what movies I want to get myself into? Honestly, at this point, I think like maybe even a month ago or 6 months ago, I would answer this question so differently. But at this point in my life, I just love to act. I just love to be creative. And anything that offers itself up to that opportunity, I'm in. I am so in. I mean, yeah, I've got the, general outlook of going to LA, going to New York, going overseas and to Canada and to, the UK, and kind of globetrotting with that talent and exploring and working with different people in different dialects and stuff. I would love to be in like lots of action movies. They look like a whole lot of fun. Like I would love a role where I have to like undergo some sort of training and discipline in order to execute a particular type of performance, because that's something I'm not doing at the moment. And therefore I want to involve myself in that so I can grow and develop my craft. But yeah, no, with that said, when it comes down to it, whatever just keeps me going and keeps me happy, I just want to do. Like, I think there's a lot of indie films out there as well that have incredible concepts, but a lack of funding or a lack of people who want to do it for free. But it's an incredible story and an incredible script, so why not do it? So I would totally lend myself to that as well.
Well, thank you so much, Bernie, for joining my Galaxy Man show. It was a pleasure having you on my show. Everyone, go support Bernie. Go support Jade of Death. The pilot's coming out soon, so yeah, definitely go support Bernie and Jade of Death. And yeah, she's such an incredible actress, and yeah, keep up the great work, Bernie. So thank you
very much.
one and all,
Cheers.
and bye for now. Hello, one and all. Welcome to a Galaxy Man show here. I am here with
Crystal Moore, Doctor Who Velocity.
And so, Crystal, for my first question, I would love to ask you, who decided to come up with the idea of creating Doctor Who Velocity?
Originally, it was an idea for just like a sketch comedy. I'm a comedian, so I had this idea of just scenes that the Doctor has already done that would play out differently if the Doctor were a female. And then I got pregnant and I had a son, and a couple years went by, and I just thought, oh, it would be a really good time to come back to that. Capaldi announced that he was leaving, and I told my partner, oh, I think we could do this now. And it's like, oh yeah, we could totally do this now. And from there, it just evolved into a full sort of fan series.
Nice. And for my second question, I would love to ask, Sophie Aldred appeared in episode 4 as a voice cameo. How was it involving Sophie Aldred to come on board?
Oh, it was an honor. It was an honor. We were over the moon when she said yes, that she would. It was really, really cool. Really neat to work, just to have her on there and to say yes, and to be able to write that part in there too was really neat.
Nice. And what would you like your favorite monster or creation be for Doctor Who Velocity?
Oh, that's tough. I think so far my favorite opponent has been the Witchfinder General. That whole concept and everything, but I know both of us have got a lot of ideas for future baddies that could be really fun, and ones that it was really fun to do Davros. Just making that chair, because I made that chair out of cardboard and some other stuff, Legos and spray paint. And so that whole part of that baddie was a lot of fun, a lot more fun than the others. But I guess I like different things about different baddies.
And for my next question, with playing a female version of the Doctor in your creation of Doctor Who Velocity. If your Doctor could team up with any Doctor, which Doctor would it be and why?
I would team up with Tennant because I think we'd have a jolly good time.
Nice. And I hear that you're doing like a Doctor Who Christmas Velocity special. What can you tell me about that?
The Christmas special this year will be a parody of the Hallmark Christmas movies. And that is all I'll say for now.
Nice. For my last and final question for you, Crystal. So with being a Doctor Who fan film creation, what would you recommend? Like, what would you recommend to someone who wants to get on board and create their own fan film creations like yourself?
I'd say just do it. Just do it. Just write it and do it, and try not to put too much. One thing I think that we've done really well is we just get on to doing it. We try not to spend too much time in figuring out what everybody's wearing and what everything's going to look like, because at the end of the day, it's still a homemade project. And I think we just own that it's a homemade project, and we just do it, and we have a lot of fun, and we try to tell a good story at the end of the day.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Crystal, for joining my Galaxy Man show. Please, everyone, make sure to go support Doctor Who Velocity. Crystal is one truly amazing person, so definitely go support her, Doctor Who Velocity. And yeah, thank you so much, Crystal, for joining my Galaxy Man show.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. It's a good question.
Thank you so much. Thank you, one and all, and bye for now. Hello, one and all. Welcome to a Galaxy Man show here. I am here with myself. Nice. Like, you have like a music coming out, like a music single, I hear. What do you want to talk about your music single?
I'm heavily influenced by like music from The Witcher and Dragon Age, those sort of games. And I thought I'd just try my hand at something like that. So I'm working closely with the composer at the moment, and then hopefully in the new year I can go into a studio to record the vocals for that. So it's a work in progress, but hopefully it'll be done in the next few months. But it's coming along really, really nicely at the moment.
And who influenced you into creating your own music?
My dad's side of the family is very musical, and I grew up with influence like, you know, David Bowie, Phil Collins, Genesis, and things like that. And I think either you've got a knack for it or you don't. Some things you can't teach. So I heavily influenced by my dad's side of the family, very musical family. Dad plays drums. My grandmother, when she was alive, she played the organ. She self-taught herself guitar, harmonica, things like that. So I'm heavily influenced by them on my dad's side of the family, very musical family.
And do you have like any links to where people can find you if people want to like look up your music?
I actually did another song a few years back. It's on YouTube. I actually did a music video for it. It's called Learning How to Breathe, and you just type in my name and it should come up on YouTube, and it's on SoundCloud as well. And I did that with a small company called Chef Film, who are a couple, and they do music videos for independent artists as well on a budget. And I did that at Dalesford Botanical Gardens, I think in 2014. It has been a few years since I've done one, but you know, these things cost money, a lot of money. And that's why it's taken me a while to do another one, because it does cost a fair bit to do it. So, yeah.
And last but not least, what would you reckon, like, if anyone wants to get into creating their own music content or anything like that, what would you recommend them do?
It sounds a bit cliche, but keep at it. Don't be disheartened, because, good things come to those who wait, as that saying goes. And I'm in my 30s, and I don't have any unrealistic expectations. If I get a break, wonderful. If I don't, it's okay. I've kind of come to terms with that it may not happen, because there's some extremely talented, more so than me, out there. And if you really love it, just keep at it, and just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, and not just to become famous. I think that's not the right reason to do it. I think do it because you really love to do it, and it makes you happy, and it gives you satisfaction and gratification. I think that's the best thing to do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Vanessa, for joining my show. Please, everyone, go support Vanessa's music. I'll put the link in the description to her YouTube channel and to her music. And once I know when your single comes out, I'll definitely let people know on my channel. So yeah, thank you, Vanessa,
Wonderful.
for joining.
Thank you so
And
much.
yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Bye for now.
Hey guys and girls, Jade Holland here. Shout out to the Galaxy Man Show. Legend!